Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Maniac. It is episode 2, it is called Windmills. So, full spoilers for the episode as always. And we did jump back to Annie's side of the story and how she ended up at the trials. And what a story it is. It kind of hints at a few things throughout. And then when they actually turn on the machine and we get phase 1 of the machine, and I'm assuming that the next episode will then jump back to Owen to see what he saw inside the machine, because that just makes sense now. So we're kind of seesawing back and forth, assuming I'm right, and that's cool. Before I get to character stuff though, because obviously there's a lot of character stuff for her, and her backstory, and what she's going through, why she's there, blah blah blah, all that's important. I just want to talk about world building. I want to talk about more of the crazy concepts that this episode introduced in terms of what is available in this world. Number 1, legal blackmail services.
I'm not sure how legal it actually, because I'm not sure if it is.
It was that's the thing, is the way he said it. Because the way she says, "Is this legal?" and then he says, "Oh, would we put a sign out if they hadn't made it legal?" or something to that effect.
He goes, "Oh, would you put a sign out if it wasn't?" And she's kind of like, "Maybe, I don't know."
I don't know. It felt like there was a weird, I don't know if it's like a loophole or something, or like some obscure. But because there's a moment where you see that the door behind them open, and there's like an entire team of people like putting shredded paper back together. Because the whole idea is they've got a database with dirt on everyone, which people can purchase should they want to blackmail someone.
Yeah, I don't know if it was legal though, or I don't know if he was just being like, "Nah, screw it. We're just, it's not, it is illegal, but we just don't care."
We'll
blackmail him.
He even offers to like phone and threaten the woman's daughter. Like, yeah, we'll threaten her. Do you want to be medicine? And she's like, no, I don't want to hurt anyone or anything like that. Just, So you got that. We also have friend by proxy, or proxy friend, or friend proxy, whatever she called it. Where you can it's basically prostitution, but just for like a friend, so that someone will be there in public to make it look like you're not a loner, and they'll talk to you.
I would have called it rent a friend.
Maybe that's the rival, because we find out the ad buddy's got a rival.
They do. Can you remember what it was called?
Oh god, it wasn't Ad Pal, but it was something.
It was Pal or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, Pal ads or something. I don't know. But yeah, but she shows up because she intercepts. She wants to get to this woman because the woman works at the clinic, and she wants to blackmail her into the clinic. Now, of course, we'll get to why she wants to do that in a minute, but. She goes and she's like, okay, she was renting a friend. I'll show up as said friend, and she's playing along. And I wasn't sure at first because at first I thought it was like a weird, almost like her thing, where there was a real friend who was supposed to be talking through her, with an earpiece or something like that, because she was bringing up memories and stuff. And I was like, what's going on? And Emma Stone's kind of like, yeah, me too, as if she was sort of winging it, as if that's not.
They're like, oh, it's been so long.
Yeah. As if it's because obviously she doesn't look like a friend or anything like that, but like I was thinking maybe like someone, like she hires someone to be like a surrogate so that she'll hear someone and pass it on.
Yeah.
But she's not actually doing that until, of course, she gives a shit for not doing it properly. It says, "Are you not good at this? You're not like well rated for this?" And she's like, "Yeah, I don't really work for the place." And it turns out no, it is literally just renting a friend, and then they they role play whatever character you kind of treat them with.
Yeah.
They don't have selfie sticks though, in this world.
Well, no. That's in the other world.
So, no, because that's a flashback. Technically, that's not an alternate world.
Okay. You think it's just a straight flashback?
Yeah, because the whole point of phase 1 is it's looking into their memories. Now, arguably, her memories. Maybe messing with things a little bit, but I think it's in terms of like the world setting. I think it's just the real world.
Fair enough. I wasn't sure if it murkied it up a bit, made it a little bit more dreamlike almost, or if it was just straight. Okay, here's the memory.
You think her weird imagination version of her memory would just take out selfie sticks and have her comment on that there should be selfie sticks?
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. So I will say that this one, it doesn't disprove that everything, all of our speculation in the last episode about how maybe they're already in like one of the made up worlds. This doesn't disprove that per se. I don't think it does, but at the same time, this one definitely plays it more straight, where it doesn't feel like it is for the most part.
Do you know what I think the thing is? Other than a couple of key moments, she feels more reliable as a narrator. Even though there is evidence that, okay, she's not reliable. Like we see some pretty clear signs that, okay, she sees some weird shit too.
Well, her sister at one point says you lie all the time. She has that line of dialogue.
Yeah, exactly. And we have the train station with all the signs. And and that's where she's like, no, I need the pills. So we know that she's not necessarily, truthful. She sees things maybe, but it's presented as more reliably than with Owen.
It is. And because we're seeing her side of it, it's like, well, maybe it is real. But then again, if they're both hooked up to this machine already, then they'd both be in this world. So I guess that makes sense. But that's just, for the time being, let's just assume that it's the real world, right? Until the last third of this episode, when they actually strap into the thing, let's just assume up until that point it's real. But we'll come back. Should there be new evidence that maybe piques our curiosity or imagination, we'll come back to it. But so the whole thing with her is that she's addicted to these pills. I actually didn't think it was a pill at first. It looked like candy to me. It looked like a sweet you'd get in like a packet, and each one was a letter. Cause it's like an A. It's like a sugary looking A. But that is indeed a pill in this world, because when they go to this trial, they have an A, B, and a C, and each one's like a different phase of the process before they're ready to go into the thing. And the A part is about going into their darkest memories and their worst memories, and that's kind of what we see when they strap them in, and we see her worst memory, which is why I'm assuming we'll see Owen's, which may or may not be the owl or the bird incident that we heard about. Yeah. It might be. But so she's addicted to this pill. She kind of got it illegally, and she wants more. She's addicted to it. She's trying to do without it, and we see she keeps putting up these lost dog posters. And I was actually wondering if there was an actual lost dog, or if this was just one of her weird, quirky schemes. I don't know what she would be scheming exactly, but I thought there was something more to it than that. And of course, we find out what all this means, and because we hear that she wants to go and visit her sister. Her dad is in a
pod.
It's like a pod. It's like a. But what I noticed about it though is that I thought, is this for health reasons? But then I noticed the name of the pod on the side. It said A-void, a void, and I'm like, is this like a thing where he just wants to be on his own, and he's just like,
I think so, because
screw the world.
He can definitely get in and out, because she's like, oh yeah, make sure you eat.
Yeah.
While I'm gone, there's food in there.
Yeah, I mean, arguably,
and she says she says, "Oh, you're coming out today."
Now, arguably, he's just relying on this the same way she's relying on the pills. They're just getting through their concerns and worries in different ways. They're both addicted to something different. And we go through this whole process where she's like, "Oh, the only place you can get these pills is to actually go into the trial," and she blackmails the women. What I thought was interesting, we never really spoke about the test last episode that we saw Owen take, where the women shows them.
We mentioned it briefly because we talked about the suffocating. Yeah,
the suffocating, but the feelings. But what we never mentioned specifically was the at the end of the test, she would look at him and say, "Hey, there's one more question," and then she just went silent. And then he was like, "Hey, I'm sorry, is there a question yet? Is this the question?" And then we find out it's about testing their defense mechanisms, and of course, this happens again with Annie, and she says, "Okay, got one more question." And obviously, even the way she answers all the photos is different. She just sort of quickly rattles off what she thinks she wants to hear, as opposed to what she actually feels.
The only one that feels almost truthful is the ink blots where she says sisters.
Yeah. But even more so when she says, "Oh no, we want an emotion, not something like that." She's like, "Fine." Like, what do you feel? Fine. It's like, okay, obviously that's not truthful, but it's so blatantly, like,
it's the only one that feels like a genuine reaction, though.
Yeah, but then she says, "Okay, look at me. I have one last question," and then silence, and she just sits there in silence for the 20 seconds, and then the red light beeps, and she's like, "What was that? Was there a question? Was that the question?" And she's like, "Oh, it was about testing your defense mechanisms." And I laughed out loud at Emma Stone going, "I don't have an effing defense mechanism."
Yeah.
The irony, of course,
was
being
funny.
lost on her that in and of itself is a defense mechanism. But then she goes and kind of re-blackmails the worker.
Yeah, we see her come out of the test and shouting, which is actually where we got reintroduced to her last episode.
Yeah, it matches up with last episode, yeah. And she actually threatens her daughter, even though she doesn't really have a guy with a van who's going to kidnap her daughter, but she does it. But it's notable that she said, no, I don't want to do that earlier on. And not only that, she actually backed out of blackmailing her at all. She ended up being honest with her and saying, hey, I was going to blackmail you, had this information because I'm addicted to this drug. And the woman's very receptive to her and kind of like, hey, I understand, you're not hurting anyone and blah, blah, blah. I'll get you in the door. But then she gets turned down because of the test, and now she's taking someone else's place. She bumped someone else up to the better trials and give her
allegedly
the pass.
I don't know. I don't think she actually does. I think she's like, hey, because she goes, oh yeah, go speak to my colleague at the desk. I'll take the pass. I think she takes the pass, gives it to Annie, and then it's like, nah, sorry, we got nothing for you.
Nah, I've got no reason to think they didn't just put her on a different trial. Like, I'm sure they've got plenty going on. I don't know.
Maybe. I'm just assuming.
I have zero reason to think that she's not at least. It's kind of like being on a plane as you give someone your seats. We'll bump you to first class, right? Just don't make a fuss.
Yeah. But I think for me, it was the way she's like, "Oh, just go talk to my colleague. They'll sort you out." To me, she'd take her over and sort it out herself. That would have felt genuine. Whereas this felt like, no, I'm fobbing you off.
I think you're reading too much into this.
Maybe. But
I never got a sense of this. We're never going to see this character again, and it's never going to be brought up.
Definitely not.
But yeah, so they go in, and there's like one other moment, as they're leaving after the videotape, and it is like an old VHS style tape that they're all watching about this orientation video, and we get Justin Theroux as the sort of head scientist, or co-head scientist. Doing his thing. I did laugh at the end when he goes to put his pen in his pocket and he can't get it in, so he just kind of puts his arm down. Yeah. Doing a little take maybe. That's that's part of the charm. Obviously, I'm not criticizing it. I'm just in context of the world. I'm thinking, why not do another take? You look an idiot.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe that's the point. Is Cary's like, I'm throwing him off guard, make him think I'm like a bit goofy.
Okay, all right. And obviously there's some important stuff in the tape. We find out that A is about your worst memories, understanding your worst fears, blah blah blah. B is about all the blockades that your own mind puts up against you, so you can't just do what you want and explore freely. And then C is when you sort of come to a completion. I mean, I'm thinking of words beginning with C just because of ABC, but the idea that you would actually find peace based on what your worst fears are and what your worst memories are. You'd find a tranquil conclusion to it, and we'll see if that actually happens. We'll see if they actually go through that and achieve this.
If they get there or not.
Yeah. But so there's one brief moment with Annie and Owen when Owen tries to talk to her, and she's like, "Oh, we'll talk about this later." And again, it's very like we have no idea if.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like she has anything to do with his shit.
It doesn't.
But I don't know.
It doesn't. I mean, it's slightly not, but at the same time, that's what would make it a great twist when we actually find out. No, she actually does know him, and she is here to see him, and there's all these things going on. But it still doesn't feel like it at this moment in time. But we'll see. But so she puts on the thing, and I did like how they're telling everyone to wait before they take the first pill, and she's like ready to go. She's like she's raring. She sees it, and she's like wanting it. And they take the pill. And we actually get the memory of her with her sister, and we heard that they had a fight, and she kept saying she wanted to go and visit her. In a different city. I can't remember what city she moved to.
Salt Lake.
There you go. And we see them traveling together. She's driving her down there, and we hear that she's going to get married, and that's why she's moving there because her fiance got a new job there. And we see that Annie was kind of always a bit of a menace. She's constantly kind of making fun of her sister. They've got a weird disposable camera. Again, there's no smartphones. It's kind of this weird thing where we've got, robot drones that are cleaning the streets, and we've got other like futuristic tech, but they're all CRTs and they don't have this and that. Retro future. basically, I guess what
Yeah.
you call it. But so there's this constant thing of her making this joke where she's going to take a photo of her sister or both of them, and she'll take a photo of her armpit instead. And her sister keeps getting kind of frustrated, and they're in the motel room one night, and they're kind of starts off peacefully enough. They're kind of just arguing about what to watch on TV, and it becomes this serious conversation about how Annie feels about her sister moving, and she kind of just throws it in her face, and in an attempt to look strong and tough, says, "Oh no, I'm looking forward to you being gone because then I won't have to pretend that we're not drifting apart." And it was very malicious.
It was.
Very, 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 a lot of awful sentiments, and it's just like, okay, so Annie's definitely a character who often crosses the line, even though she knows before she crosses it that she probably shouldn't, and she doesn't want to.
She chooses to do it though. Yeah.
We've seen it a lot in this episode where she doesn't go over that line when it comes to the blackmail, but then later on when it becomes more of an obstacle, she threatens to do it again anyway, and worse than she did the first time. So she's got a conscience, but she's kind of struggling with it, and I think that obviously that's going to be part of her character.
I did notice as well on the TV what the sister liked was the fantasy show.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we know from the trailer that we have a fantasy world at some point. So I'm like, okay, I'm starting to see where that's playing in and how that's playing into, her psyche.
Which means we're going to have a spy world at some point as well.
Probably, yeah.
We're going to have that for Owen. Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. And they're kind of making up the next day in the car. And she's like, oh, let's take a photo of us. And that's when the selfie stick joke happens. And it's when they're driving. And I immediately went...
as soon as it starts where it's going.
Yeah. I'm like, this feels like a poor road etiquette, shall we say. And sure enough, this big truck, they're not paying attention to the road. They hit the truck, and Emma Stone gets thrown from the car, but her sister stays in the car and goes off the cliff, and is definitely dead. There's no doubts about it. I mean, Annie's pretty banged up, but her sister's dead, and it gives a new context to like everything that we've heard in the episode so far, which I think is maybe what made the episode as effective as it is that we keep hearing about Move going to see the sister, and you kind of just take her at her word, like she's going to go see her sister. We also find out in the flashback, of course, that the dog was her sister's dog that her sister loved, and she's actually looking for the dog, for her dead sister, even though it's been years by this point. Well, it seems it's been years, and she's not. There's no hope at this point, really, of finding the dog.
No, but it's just our habit at this point.
Because we see all the phone number tabs are all still attached when she sees it again.
Yeah.
So it's it adds a really sort of sad backstory to Annie, where she's not a perfect character. She's very, very flawed, but you get the guilt of what happened. And not only was it her driving that did this, everything she said to her sister the night before this happened, everything that led up to it, she has all this immense guilt, and that's why she's addicted to these pills. That's why she's kind of moving through life, just because there's that montage at the start when she's like on the pill and all her roommates are just kind of coming in and out, and she's just in there and sitting in a daze the entire time. She's not moved.
I have a question.
Oh yeah.
Did she take the picture before they crashed or not? I can't remember.
Do you know, I'd have said
I wasn't
no.
sure.
I would have said no, but you asking me that's making me wonder if she did snap it just before.
That's it. I'm not entirely certain because obviously I'm expecting at some point to see all the pictures of her armpit because I'm sure she's kept them, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe she's never developed the pictures because I'm assuming this disposable camera still needs developing. And
one would make that assumption, yes.
Yeah. So maybe we do develop them, and it's just those pictures. But is there the one last one of them in the car?
Or is it sadder that she never took the picture? Like
exactly, I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's so much chaos with the truck. I don't know if you can actually tell. I mean, I'd have to go back and watch the scene again to really notice it or not. I thought this was really effective because it obviously ends with her eyes opening. That's it. Okay. That's your worst memory, right? We've dealt with it, and we cut to the credits. I think it does a lot for her character. I feel like both these episodes have done a really good job of really developing who the characters are and why they're kind of messed up and what the arcs they might go through, the emotional trauma they might overcome and I like that they're completely different as well, right?
Yeah.
It's not like they're both like Owen, where they're both kind of loners who are too shy and want to break away from their family. If anything, Emma Stone's character Annie did break away from her family too much, and she regrets it. If anything, she's more opposite to him.
Yeah, it's the idea that maybe there's a mutual middle ground they need to find.
Yep. Possibly fall in love. I don't know.
I will say, I know at the start of this we were saying, oh, okay, next episode I can see we go back and we see his worst memory, right? I can see them not doing that as well, because we understand him a lot already. We kind of get why he's doing this.
Sure.
Whereas
for
her, we didn't have that.
Yeah, with Annie, we didn't really get her completely until we got our worst memory.
Yeah, whereas I don't know if we need that with him. We kind of got the shit that it was his life already.
I can see us getting glimpses of it, but they don't have to show us the whole thing, because we've heard enough about it that we can like. Let's assume it is the bird incident. We can, because it's implied what happened with the bird, but if we just get some quick glimpses of like his brother actually trying to hack his bird's head off or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
no. Also, I mean, I think for Owen, I don't think there's one key moment that is going to be as effective as this, because everything in that first episode for him was, oh, it's just one thing on top of another. It was this whole pile of shit, right? That all added up.
That's why I think it'd be interesting to see what it would represent. Like, because if the machine's going to find his worst memory, then what comes out? Given what you just said.
Yeah, for me, if it's not the eagle, or not an eagle, was it an eagle? Bird, whatever.
There's a bird.
Yeah, if it's not that, then it'll be something around his psychotic break, something that maybe he did when he had his break 10 years ago.
There you go. Which I think probably is important to see at some point.
Yeah, it could be.
Or at least hear about. I mean, if not see, at least we need to find out what he did.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense. Speaking of psychotic breaks, I want to rewind, because we kind of glossed over something. When Emma Stone goes to see the guy for the drugs who's playing chess, we need to talk about who he's playing chess with.
Yeah, I was waiting to bring this up, because it's a little bear thing.
It was basically Evil Beeble. Is basically what I was thinking as the scene was going on, because he was swearing a lot. He was threatening him because he was trash talking him whilst playing chess. And he was like, "Oh yeah, give me the money when he won." He was a little dickhead basically. Don't get me wrong, entertaining dickhead. I'm not I'm not critiquing this.
It didn't seem like a delusion.
No, it felt like
that's the weird thing.
Either there's an actual robot bear that's sentient, which, given the quirkiness of this world so far, would not.
It's not unfeasible. Yeah.
Or kind of what I was thinking with the friend proxy, there's someone else playing with them, and the robot bear is just the physical thing there to
an animatronic thing.
Yeah, just to so he's talking through it, he's moving the arms, but yeah.
Yeah, could be.
Could be that. Never explained.
Kind of hope it's the former though.
Never explained. But yeah, if this turns out to be also
talking robot bear.
Because what if the weird quirkiness of the world, the real world, what if it does turn out to this is already inside the machine, right? This is already not real. Mm-hmm. What if if that turns out to be the case, and they wake up at the end in the real world, and it turns out to just be normal real life? All this weird things we're talking about, the weird services, the weird bears that are playing chess. What if all of that stuff is just because it's not real?
Yeah.
That they're all like manifestations of something that, like we were talking about how the ad body kind of represents like real things that we can understand. What if the trash talking bear is also representative of something else, and so on? Like,
it's those little things that make it still stay in my mind that it's possible that this isn't a real world.
Yeah.
Like, at the same time, it's like, yeah, sure, it could be just a retro future. It's just this thing, right? I can accept that because seen it a dozen times. But also, it makes me go, is it real?
Yes. No, I mean, it's such a... but that's the thing, though. It's such an obvious twist to pull, given the concept of the show, that I could also see them not wanting to do that. So it just... No, we're not doing that.
Yeah, because like we said, if they pull that, they've got to have something to back it up.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Dramatically for the characters, there has to be something there to do it that way. I don't think they have to explain it in terms of like why per se, like why for the character, sure, like why are we telling the story this way? I don't think in universe they have to explain it though. Like,
No,
literally,
no.
literally, it's like, oh, just to make their minds more acceptable to it, they have to go through like an extra layer, like they or
No,
something.
that's fine.
That's it,
When I say they've
easy.
got to back it up, I mean it's got to be more than just for the sake of going, gotcha. Look, this wasn't real the whole time. There's got to be a good reason for it. Otherwise, it'll feel a bit cheap.
So like every other good twist in the history of
There
storytelling.
is, but no, yeah, you're right. But I think it's more egregious when it's okay. That's clearly the twist that it's going to be, and because there are twists that you don't see coming that even though that okay it's an okay twist but it's good
Mm-hmm.
because you didn't expect it, right? Whereas this when you can see okay that's what the twist is going to be from the start, it has to really punctuate it and deserve it and earn that twist, whereas it's a little bit different for me.
I don't know if I agree that that's the way around I'd put them. I feel like with this one it's much more forgivable because why it can happen is baked into the premise of the show. So as much as it may be predictable if it happens, it wouldn't actually be like because this is the thing. I think I said last time that it doesn't even matter if there's a super big reason for it, as long as they don't treat it like a big twist, like a gotcha moment. It's not a big deal. Like
Yeah,
if they treat it as such a sort of non-event, like it's just yeah, of course it was. Like
no, that's fine, but then it's barely a twist.
yeah, but what I'm saying is that works because it doesn't feel like a betrayal of what's in the show. Whereas what you're saying is a twist that comes out of nowhere that feels like it's just a gotcha and has nothing to back it up with thematically. That's much of a bigger problem to me because then it's just a hey out of nowhere left field like just something to surprise you because we have nothing else to
Yeah,
impress you with. So
that's
shocking
fair.
awe.
Those can be good though, like the in the moment.
Yeah, but I mean, like
Not
you were
always.
saying though, or like I was saying, but I was kind of backing off what you were saying, is all the good twists have more than that. They do recontextualize the entire thing and give it this
Mm.
extra layer. They give it this extra spin. But so maybe there'll be this twist, maybe there won't be this twist, maybe there'll be some other twist that we'll never see coming. I don't know, but
Kind
they're
of hope
already
so.
dead.
That'd be fun.
They're already dead. Call it now.
Yeah, why not?
They're already dead. Um, they're playing a video game. This is actually inside the Matrix already, and then inside the Matrix, they're using the Inception tech to go inside their heads. I'm just
It's funny because you mentioned like these things. This did feel super Assassin's Creed to me, in the idea of okay, reliving memories through this machine.
oh sure,
The way it played out kind of felt like that to me.
yeah,
It
but
was
without all the
reminding me.
boring open world stuff,
Sure, whatever. I'm not taking the bait.
without all that boring
I'm just in
gameplay,
terms of core concept.
sure.
Cross my mind.
But yeah, so that's episode 2 of Maniac. Uh, interesting episode. I thought did a lot for Annie as a character, as it should, because it was clearly her introduction episode to
It
really get
it
into who
put
she
her
was.
on equal footing
Yeah,
after this episode.
yeah, but there was a nice sadness to it, and it as much as we got the impression all episode that she was doing this out of sadness, it never quite clicked how sad it was and how the guilt that came with it. Because
Mm.
she's oh I'm going to visit my sister because we've been out of touch. That's all it was at first, and then by the end of the episode, it's like no, this is guilt because she feels responsible for her sister's death. She said some horrible things to her, made her feel unloved before she died. There's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot to
Yeah.
for her to sort of overcome and forgive herself for potentially. So yeah, but that's episode 2. So let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below. We'll be back with episode 3 soon. Get us on patreon.com/MailFuzzTV if you want to support the show and the channel and everything we do here. You can do that over there. Also, like, subscribe, all the usual stuff, all the usual jazz. Get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. But that is us, so thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?